Hi, I'm Dr. Leigh Kennicott, and I'd like you to listen to this conversation that we have and then run right over and log on to the LA Pride Festival. You'll love it. I think my first theater experience was when I was 6. I was cast in a very consequential play called The Kitchen Clock, and I was, amazingly enough, the kitchen clock. So my first role was a starring role in the first grade. And I was precocious as a child, and I got the role because I could read. And that was the one and only reason that I got the role. But from the age of 6, I was hooked. And I began as an actress. I graduated from UCLA in acting, and I acted in town for a few years and discovered that I really didn't like the audition circuit, having to audition over and over and maybe get one thing out of many things. That wasn't pleasant for me, pleasurable. I liked doing the work, but I didn't like just having to beg people to hire me. So I immediately went behind the scenes, and I segged from there to playwriting. And so that's where you see me today. Okay, I was 10 when I wrote my first play. So I was maybe somewhat of a child prodigy, I can't say. I just maybe was more of a show off. And so that kind of spelled out my future for me. I wrote plays in college, and I was encouraged, but I didn't follow it up so much. It had to wait until I was seasoned, you might say, by living in Hollywood to be able to return to playwriting. And I chose playwriting as opposed to screenwriting or anything else because of the fact that it was something you could do from your heart. It was something that you could also express things that could not be expressed in a screenplay. And there was a sense of wonder and magic on a stage that you couldn't get on the screen. And that's why I became a playwright instead of a screenwriter. I actually wrote a very detailed dissertation when I was in getting my advanced degree about the aura of humanity on stage. So without getting too wonky about it all, there is a connection to be made between someone sitting in an audience and someone standing on stage that you cannot get on the screens. And that could lead us today to a very interesting conversation about why are we all on these screens now that I treasure so much the live experience. I think out of necessity, we're on the screen, but what is missing is that sense of aura, that sense of connection that we get when we're in the presence of another human being telling us a story. And this is age old. Interesting thing about my writing process, I would say, is that I don't have a writing process. I don't actually plot out. So many people talk about writing outlines and being able to plot out your climax and being able to, really do things. I kind of blurt out my plays instead of premeditating them. And then for me, as with many playwrights, rewriting is everything. Rewriting is the act of writing, I would say. Because I think when you blurt out an idea, a conversation, a relationship, that you have it all raw in front of you. And it's like raw material. So you have to hone it into something that, is recognizable as a relationship, all those things that people really want to see. And I would say, and this is my opinion, but I would say that people want to see their stories on the stage. And that's actually why I love this festival that we're having. The Pride Festival really incorporates all those things, and it allows all those voices to be heard. I wanted to be part of the Alliance of Los Angeles Playwrights because Los Angeles, as you probably know, it is a place where it's very difficult to find community. There's not just neighborhoods where you can go and that's the place for playwrights, you know. And I think that when I went back to writing after being in production for a long time, I wanted to find that community. The Alliance was the place, really. And I've been there for a number of years, maybe 20. I really love the idea of giving voice to everyone. And the Pride Festival has actually gained in complexity and interest from people as time has gone by. And it started out, and I was there, as a very small little event. And we did it at the Recreation Center. And I did a number of stage readings as a director and contributed at that point. And I've watched it grow ever since. And I'm very excited about this present festival because it's more wide ranging than it's ever been. It's just lunch started because of my relationship or my understanding and knowing a young man who was trans, who I watched during his transformation. And I really respect and honor this young man. He's such a wonderful example. That was coupled with the fact that I had had many dealings with stars in my positions in production at Warner Brothers back in the day. And so I wanted to meld those two things to show how dicey it is to be a trans person in the movie business. And so it's a small little play. Actually, it's only 10 minutes, but it's a play that I hope will kind of pinpoint what somebody has to go through to maintain a career and to keep a career going and to build on that career. And this story is about two people that both want to, to succeed, but also they want things from each other that, especially in the case of the Alana, the character who is playing the starlet, she can't achieve. And so it's bittersweet at the end. And those kinds of endings are the ones I like. As a result of watching It's Just Lunch, I'm hoping that people will really see the struggle that trans people have in the midst of a hetero type of business, which is show business. It is loosening up now, but at the time I wrote this play, it was not loose at all. So that's kind of the primary thing I want people to know. And the other thing was, these are two human beings on different sides of a problem, you might say, for one at least, and that they find rapprochement in this at the end of the play. I'm just happy that we're celebrating this month and that we're celebrating it in this way and with such a robust membership being represented at the Pride Festival. I think everybody has a stake in watching these plays, and I hope that everyone will take away with them that we're all just people together and that we have different opinions, we have different creeds, ideologies, we have sexual orientation, all those different things, but that ultimately we're people on this planet and we have stewardship on this planet. And I hope that this Pride Festival goes a long way in really smoothing over those differences. I would love to see my play done in live, but actually because it's a two-hander, and you know what two-hander means, it lends itself to the screen. in a way that anything more active would not. It takes place outside in a upscale restaurant, and two people are sitting. So there's really not much dramatic action going on. For me, the emotions are the main thing. People need to hear diverse voices. And the reason that they do is to get out of their own cocoons of ideology and interest, both racially and in people's political points of view and everything else. We really need to understand each other and give each other space for our own feelings. And I think theater goes a long way to doing that. And as a theater professor, that is what I'm dedicated to doing. So for me, this is not new to have diverse voices. In academia, we've been working in this direction for quite some time now. So it's really not a very new thing. I think that it is catching on with the rank and file audience member. And I think that in time, shows like Hamilton that cross lines of culture to do casting, odd casting, you might say, that's against the norm, will become more and more normal, because that's exactly what Hamilton has done for us. We have the Alliance of Los Angeles Playwrights. And as I said, I've been in the Alliance a long, long time. It is maybe the best group for creating community, but it's also a place where you can get your work done. You can also get advice about your work. So it's there are many, many aspects to the Alliance, and it would behoove everybody to be part of it, just for the, self gratification, but also to be able to cross-pollinate with other writers, which is very, very important. We just don't have the community as New York does. And our LA Playwrights goes a long way in making that happen. And as you know, we're situated in West Hollywood. So that it's a natural fit for us to be at the Pride Festival. We are transitioning out of being on the screen for over a year now. And right now we're planning our fall event. It's going to be mammoth. We're all very excited. It's a 2-day event. And it's always been live previous to this, actually previous to last year. And we had a very successful online festival last year for ourselves. And this year, we're debating whether to go hybrid, whether to go live, whether to keep it just online. And so it's to me, this is the most exciting time, because we're going to create something new, something fresh that is going to, lead us right over to 2022. My name is Dr. Leigh Kennicott. I have to emphasize doctor because I worked hard on that aspect of my life. And if you want to come see my play, which is It's Just Lunch, please log on to LA Pride Festival, and you will see not only my play, but many, many really different aspects of Pride life.